Cablevision game is being brought to you by Apple Bank for Savings. We're good for you. And by Adelphi University. Cablevision Sports presents Championship Lacrosse. Today, it's the New York State Class A Championship game. The undefeated Garden City Trojans battling the Fairport Red Raiders in the season finale. The state championship is on the line, and you'll see it next on Cablevision. Hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Landers, along with Carrie Gluck. Carrie, on a magnificent day here at Haas University Stadium. Final game of the year. Fitting that it'll be the Garden City Club, the team that lost in the finals last year to West Jenny, playing this Fairport club, a club that has fought back from tragedy that happened this week, beat West Jenny during the regular season a couple of years ago, had a chance this year to win the state title after playing a tough game the other day, beat Henninger coming off a tragedy in which 4 of their fans, 3 of them football players and teammates of several of these players on the lacrosse team, died on a car accident moments before the team was arriving for the game.
This is going to be quite a game. I think the excitement is really picked up here at the stadium. You can feel it. Garden City anxious to be back. There's no doubt about that. Certainly Fairport looking forward to this game despite the tragedy that occurred earlier this week, as you mentioned.
Let's talk about this Fairport club. They were down in that West Jenny, in that Henninger game, came back to win it. They're a club that can score goals. They're an excellent defensive club. And you've got to talk about their midfield and a kid by the name of SOUDAN.
Right. SOUDAN is certainly an outstanding midfielder. He's probably the best player all around on their team. He's got a tremendously hard shot. He loves to go to the cage. He's a great dodger. He could run all day. He's what a lot of coaches would look to as a great midfielder all around.
Timmy SOUDAN is a great midfielder. He's their scoring midi. They've got an outstanding face-off midi, and he's a guy that'll be matched up with Andy Krause, the All-American from Garden City, Jacques Monty, and they figure that Monty can battle anybody, including Krause.
Well, that's going to be the battle of the day. Is going to be Monty against Krause. Both of them are All-Americans. Both of them are going to be facing off against each other since they did this past summer in the Empire State. Great face-offs, and that's going to be a very important factor for both teams. Can they control the face-off? If they can control the face-off, I think both teams feel that they're going to be able to control the game.
They've got a potent attack, as you might expect, a club that gets this far. Steve Young and Jeff Koch. We'll talk a little bit more about them a little bit later on. And, of course, the defense led by John Wissop. They've got a super defensive ball club. They only give up 3.6 goals a game. One of their key men, of course, in goal, Mike Mutkowski.
Yes, and also we really can't forget Dave Nelson, also, who has also played for the Empire State team for Fairport. So they've got some very sound defensive people on defense.
We talked about midfield. We mentioned Andy Krause before. We've had the pleasure of watching this kid play, comes up with the big goals, wins the big face-off. He's going to be tested today against Monty. What do you like about Andy Krause?
Well, what's there not to like about Andy Krause, Barry? He does everything that you want a midfielder to do, as well as what we've talked about earlier. He's strong. He's been so successful on his face-offs. He loves to go to the cage. He's a scorer. When Garden City needs a goal, they're going to look to Krause. He's going to be the man that's going to take it to the cage.
Jay McMahon has also come up big. He's on the second midfield unit. Offensively, that second midfield unit can score goals. The first unit plays tough defense with Griffith and Tully supporting Krause. And on attack, they're starting to get the goals. The last game against Yorktown, they got the attack going. Sullivan had a couple of goals. Del Olio had a goal. And it's a defense, or rather an offense, that is keyed around Mickey Cavoti.
Yes, Mickey Cavoti is the key to their offense. He plays behind. He's the feeder. He's the quarterback on the offense. He has great vision, and he also likes to go to the cage on occasions, and that's what creates some problems for defenses as well.
Speaking of defenses, Garden City will have its hands full with a couple of those players we mentioned before. You talk about Keith Malchione. He's going to be matched up against that great midi SOUDAN. As far as the rest of the defense, they're going to have to do the job. John Blair, Greg Leader, and Dennis Driscoll.
Well, those defensemen have done the job all year for Garden City, and there's no reason why they couldn't do it today.
All right, and Kenny Mangano will have to come up big. Had an outstanding game against Yorktown. Our colleague, Carl Reuter, will return with the coach of the youngsters from Fairport in just a moment. You're watching Championship Lacrosse on Cablevision.
How expensive is your free checking? You're looking at checking that's really free. That's right. Here at Apple Bank, there are no check charges and no monthly fees, nothing. Plus, you get 5.25% interest on any balance over $700. So come in and get the free checking that you and your money deserve.
Apple Bank for Savings. We're good for you. Carl Reuter back here at Hofstra University, standing alongside the Fairport coach, Randy Garrett. And Randy, I know it's a tough situation. It's difficult. I'm glad you were able to come over and talk with us. But what's the mood like on the team right now? How are the guys holding up?
I think at this point they're glad to be away from Fairport. I think it's something different. It's gotten their minds off the tragedy, and I think really right now they're glad to just have gotten away from Fairport for at least a day.
You think lacrosse will be on their mind for the next 40 minutes?
I know it will be.
All right, it's a state championship game. Will you be able to coach in this game, or will your mind be on lacrosse today?
Definitely. We set a mission 3 months ago to get to the state final, and we're here to complete the mission today.
What do you know about Doc Doherty's Garden City Club? Have you seen them at all? Have you scouted any films?
No films, no scouting. I saw him play last year. I knew they played his zone defense. Great face-off kid.
Andy Krause. So you're going to be able to cope with Mr. Krause?
We got a kid we think's pretty good too, so we'll see here in the next 40 minutes what's going to happen. But we're ready to play against them.
Coach, welcome to Long Island, and it's great to see a smile on your face in some tough times.
Thanks an awful lot.
Okay, Randy Garrett, the coach of Fairport, has been my guest. Barry and Carrie will be back with the opening face-off following this timeout. You're watching High School Championship Lacrosse on Cablevision.
I never ran before I came to Adelphi. Now I can't imagine not doing it. It really helps having the kind of encouragement I've gotten here. It makes Adelphi feel like a small college. But I'm glad it's a big university with lots of courses and career options, because I'm making choices that will affect my whole life. I'm excited about my future. In fact, sometimes I can't wait to graduate. It's sort of like running. Once you get started, you want to see how far you can go.
Adelphi University, where the advantages of a major university and a small college meet.
We're back at Hofstra University. Barry Landers along with Carrie Gluck and Larry Glens, the head man for the Nassau County Coaches Lacrosse Association, as well as a coach at Lynbrook. Let's take a look at the Garden City Trojans. Their starting attack led by Mickey Cavotti. Cavotti with an outstanding year, 113 points, 80 assists. Chris Sullivan, 25 goals, 57 points. And James Del Olio been really coming on, crease attackman with 30 goals. Midfield led by the man in the middle, Andy Krause, 67 goals, 88% face-off percentage. Paul Tully and Joe Griffith, two good defensive middies on either side. And on defense, a defense that has really blossomed, really has come to life, especially in the playoffs. Keith Melchione, John Blair, and Greg Leader. Keith Melchione, the son of Bill Melchione, the former pro basketball star. And in goal, Kenny Mangano, coming off an excellent game against Yorktown, and he has been improving. He's been tested of late. They've given up just 4 goals in each of the last 3 games, and that's excellent against the competition, Carrie Gluck, they've been playing.
Oh, most definitely. You can't get any better.
Here's Fairport starting attack. Steve Young, a young man who has scored 40 goals, 65 points. Had a tough story. We'll tell you about it later. Todd Kane, a little guy in the middle. And Jeff Cope, 27 goals, 49 points. Quick player. In midfield, Jacques Monty, the face-off midi who battled Krause. Tim Soudan, the big guy offensively, and Craig Fox, a real battler. On defense, Dave Nelson, the Empire State player, Johnny Wishop, Keith Valley, and the goalie, Mike Mutkowski. We're underway now with our championship Class A. And taking the face-off, Monty in red against Krause in white. Let's watch that battle here. Rake by Krause. He'll pick it up on the run. 67 goals for Andy Krause. Anything we should key on early here as we watch Krause bounce one, hit the pipe as it bounces out, and they'll chase it down. Anything, Carrie, we should key on early as they retain possession, Garden City?
Well, we should see Andy Krause take those early shots right in the very beginning of the game and see if he's going to be able to maintain that kind of offense.
And here are the officials. Carrie, for just a moment, we'll break in Craig Pratt, Ed Schreiber, Skip Spensieri, and Bruce Barties. 2 gentlemen, Schreiber and Barties from Nassau County, the other gentleman from upstate. So now we watch as Garden City will set up the attack. Garden City plays a zone defense, but the youngsters from Fairport, Larry Glens, they play a man-to-man defense. And how about Garden City in trying to stop their attack?
Well, Garden City is a very complete team, Barry. You know, they come up big on defense in the playoffs, where in the first part of the year, their offense carried them past everybody. They have a top defense. They have a top goalie in this kid Mangano. Their midfielders are outstanding. I'd say they're probably the most complete ball club in the whole county.
You know, we didn't get a chance to talk too much about the youngster in goal for Fairport, Mike Mutkowski. He's a little guy, 5'8", 155 pounds, converted midi, and he's great in clearing. And that time they knocked it down in front as Del Olio, number 17, had a good opportunity.
What a great opportunity for Garden City, and they weren't able to capitalize on it. But yes, you're right. Mike Mutkowski is really a fine goalkeeper. He's been playing for 3 years now. He used to play midfielder, as you said, which tells you that he's probably got some good speed. Very quick, good reflexes, and according to what we've heard, he really loves pressure, and if he loves pressure, he'll love this game.
Another opportunity as Cavoti controlled the ball nicely. Now drops it off to Doyle, 25. McMahon, bounce shot, score! Jay McMahon on that second unit. We told you, offensively, they may be better than the first. His 32nd goal. And the heir apparent, Andy Krause, is making his presence felt known right now in this championship game.
That was a great shot that Jay McMahon just took, and we saw him put the Garden City team up by 1 goal. As the heir apparent, he certainly is going to have tough shoes to fill, but he certainly will be able to do it, I think. The second unit, as we've said earlier, the second unit for Garden City has done a great job and has really given the Garden City the boost that it needs offensively.
That includes Rob Finity, 27, and Mike Doyle, 25. Garden City picking up the loose ball. Now they look to start up on their second opportunity. Paul Tully with Krause and Joe Griffith on this midfield unit.
I think it's early yet, but we're seeing Garden City take advantage of the face-offs, and there, number 22, Paul Tully, scoring for Garden City, and quickly Fairport's going to call timeout and try and regroup after a quick 2 goals in a minute and a half.
Paul Tully, who'll be going to Cornell, a kid who hasn't scored all that much this year, only 14 goals the entire season in 24 games. He's known as a great ground ball man. He's got speed, sweeping, and dodging ability, and he bounces this one home.
And this is right off of the face-off, Barry, and here you see Paul Tully beats his man outside and then just takes it right into the cage.
Krause set up a bit of a screen there. They may be watching him so closely, leaving the other middies open.
And he's wide open, and yes, he could be a decoy in this, but I think the key was the face-offs. I think the tempo is being set right now by Garden City. Andy Krause winning those first couple of face-offs to give Garden City the opportunity to go up 2 goals. They've had 2 possessions and 2 goals to show for it.
Recapping the scoring, McMahon for Garden City at 1:15, Tully at 1:32, and very similar to the B championship game, Elmont jumped in front early 2-0, and now it's Garden City, the home team, jumping in front. Here's the road to the top. That Hicksville game, they were trailing 6-3 with 6 minutes to go, rallied to win it. Farmingdale, they blew out. Calhoun, of course, they were scoreless at the half, had a big second half. Ward Melville, they were down 4-1, rallied to win it. In the Yorktown game, they dominated in the second half. Fairport's road to the top, a big win over Niagara Wheatfield, and then a tough game against Henniger, game they trailed 4-0 and 5-2 with 9 minutes to go.
Boy, I'll tell you, Barry, you're lucky you didn't have to say Skinny Atlas again.
I didn't say it in the first game, but you said it. All right, Krause rakes it ahead. He'll have 3 in a row. He moves right down to Cavoti, who could not handle it, but picks it up on the bounce. Very important possession here for Garden City. They've been a club they've been a club, Larry Glens, that up until the last game has struggled in the first half in recent games, but they came out with fire the other night.
I think that's the key. I think their defense kept them in when their offense wasn't working, and then once their offense gets the rhythm, then they take the lead.
The other night against Yorktown, it was a 2-2 game. Then they opened it up to 4-2, then 6-2. Here's McMahon again with that left-handed bounce shot. Saved by Matkowski, and he'll try to clear it up ahead. Fairport did have a chance to play on AstroTurf against Henniger. Played at Coyne Field, the championship up in the Syracuse area. The Western Championship, good hard check by Finity, but let's see what the call will be. It's going to be a
loose
goal
ball
against.
Push. They're giving a push against Garden City. It's a tough call to make, I'll tell you that, Barry, but they're giving it over to Fairport. Let's take a look at the
Finity, 27.
I think it's a couple of good checks there myself, but the officials are giving it over to Fairport.
All right, a chance to identify Fairport. And let's watch them. The key guy, Sedan. Number 25, Melchione, will play him. They play a zone. Let's talk about that Garden City zone, Larry Glens, if you will.
Well, Garden City zone plays, it's a Hofstra zone, with called the Hofstra zone, with a backer. It was one of the original zones in lacrosse that Howdy Myers developed years ago. And they play it so well, I think they frustrate their opponent.
There's a man who comes up with the loose ball so often, Keith Melchione, outstanding soccer player. In fact, 2 of these boys on this club tried out for the Empire State soccer team earlier today.
Yeah, Keith Melchione and Mickey Cavoti, both soccer players for Garden City, had the Empire State tryout this morning. But I think they were excused, Barry. I think we let him, we didn't want to wear him down, or Doc would get really upset with us.
All right, Gary Gluck involved with the Empire State team representing Long Island. And they had the Nassau Traps. He was out at the Suffolk Traps. Cavoti had that ball checked, and it's picked up by the goalie, and he'll clear it upfield. Fairport does a good job clearing, but they don't do a good job there. as they overthrow the man they were looking for downfield, and it will be Garden City ball. So Garden City has maintained most of possession here in the early going. 3:20 gone, first quarter. In case you're just tuning in, Garden City, last year's finalist, the loser to West Jenny, 10-3 in the championship game, playing Fairport for the Class A championship. McMahon and Tully have given Garden City a 2-0 lead. Kraus shot stopped by the goalie, and Witkowski looking to clear it. Short clearing pass.
I think Andy Kraus has got to take a better shot than that. He's capable of taking good shots, and that would look like more like a pass to the goalie rather than a good shot.
And Garden City has possession. Again, they look for the transition here. That offense much sharper today on the passing. Bounce shot, and the stop as it was taken by normally the crease man, James Dell'Olio, the 5'11 senior. Very smart. He'll be going to West Point next year. They'll move it across here now. Number 34 on the second unit has got it. And that's Jeff Koch. Instead, so their attack not really getting their hands on the ball. Here's Melchione, who has 5 assists this year, dropping it off to Cavoti. He'll be watched there by number 36, Dave Nelson. That's a big matchup, Kerry.
Yes, Dave Nelson's a great defender. Played for the Empire State team, and he was all county for Fairport up there. He's a good stick handler. He's really an excellent defenseman.
He'll be going to Cortland State. Now changes in the midfield. The second unit has come on. McMahon, Finity, and Doyle. McMahon, 23. Doyle, 25. Also a lefty. The crank shot. It's blocked, and again, short clear, but it's upfield as they try to find Cook, 34. Cook helping out on those clears. He's got an excellent stick, big and strong, but Garden City takes it away. Finity to Doyle. Here's McMahon, throws it in front. And again, Mutkowski will clear it across midfield. Melchione will chase after it, eludes him, and there's Kenny Mangano. A kid who hasn't gotten Larry Glenn's a whole lot of credit for the success that Garden City has had, but he has shown a lot of people the last couple of games that he is a goalie in big spots.
Well, in the beginning of the year, he really wasn't tested. Nobody could get the ball on the offensive half against Garden City. Towards the end here, when in the playoffs, it's been Kenny Mangano that's got him to this game.
Good point. And there's a check on Doyle. Good defensive play that time by Fairport. Number 25, Timmy SOUDAN. SOUDAN, excellent player, trying to battle for that ball. He'll be going to UMass next year. Taken away. And Garden City uses a long pole midfield unit effectively. Fairport doesn't. We'll see if that has an effect on the game. They battle for it on the far side. 36 is Nelson. Downfield they come. They've got a 2-on-1 opportunity here as they move in. Steve Young, number 11. 6'1" senior, had 2 goals against Henninger, an All-American last year. He's going to Maryland. They swing it behind. That's Jeff Koch with the bandage, and not only a bandage, but a brace on that right leg, Kerry, and we'll tell the folks about that right now.
Right, Jeff Koch injured that leg, and was thought that perhaps he would never be able to walk again, and only, I think, through a lot of perseverance on his part is he really back into lacrosse. Great offensive player. He drives to the goal, and for a guy who was never thought of being able to walk, he's really remarkable.
There's Kenny Mangano.
Big save.
Big save, and of course, Steve Young was the man who took the shot, and they not only had a hustle, they got the ball because they had the man closest to the ball. I think Rob Finity hustled after it. Garden City out shooting Fairport, gentlemen, 9-1 in the early going, leading 2-0.
Well, I think just the possession has indicated that Garden City is really going to control much of the game, and if Fairport's going to take advantage of those fast breaks, they better get better take good shots on Mangano.
They'll pick up that loose ball right over there. Ken Carson, 27, picked it up. Number 40 being checked is Kyle Miller. Gets the shot off, and they score.
That's the unbroken situation that they have to take advantage of that I was just really referring to. They came up with the goal off of a broken situation, and that's what Fairport's been successful at during the course of this season. If we can see it on the replay,
I think it's 26, Tim Coyne, who picked up the goal.
26, Chris Beckley.
Yeah, 26 is correct.
Time of the goal, 6:34.
Yeah, Tim Coyne is number 26, and here we'll see another angle on it as he comes in off of the broken play, the loose ball, and if Garden City has to control those ground balls to prevent those kind of mistakes.
Well, they give up the goal there, and it's 2-1. The time of that goal, we'll give it to you in a moment. Kraus again dominating the face-offs as he wins that one. Watched by SOUDAN now. Coyne at 6:34 to make it 2-1. Garden City with the ball and the lead. That's knocked down, picked up again by Tully, and he'll fire, and it's broken up.
That was a nice save by Matkowski on the first shot, and it was good hustle by Tully to follow up on the rebound and get the second shot.
Paul Tully, an all-county football player, and Garden City has some excellent football players on this squad as well as lacrosse players. Last year, mid-season, got a chance to play. We played baseball as a sophomore, didn't play lacrosse. Came on strong last year, late in the season as a junior, and has done a good job. Has speed. He can do a lot of things for you. So can this guy, Mickey Cavoti.
He can create problems also.
And he does right now.
That was a great check, number 36. I think that was Dave Nelson. Now you see why he was Empire State. Great check on Mickey Cavoti.
Nelson will be going to Cortland. Now they try to move it up. SOUDAN with the move downfield, overthrows the man he was trying to get, Jeff Koch. Now we're talking about the injury to Jeff Koch, and you talk about him nearly not walking. Steve Young had quite a story involving him. The 6'1" senior will be going to Maryland. Had a cyst on his arm, Kerry. Had it removed after the lacrosse season last year, and it was thought that this young man would be recuperated, ready to go. Still can't shake hands properly. They did some damage to the radial nerve, apparently, and he's playing mostly lefty, although he's a natural righty.
Now, that's unfortunate that he still has that numbness in his hands, but he certainly doesn't show it on the lacrosse field, I'll tell you, Barry.
He's riding right now on Melchione, number 11 in red, and keep an eye on him, has 40 goals. An All-American last year. He'll be going to Maryland. Now they pick off the pass, and on the attack now, the youngsters from the Red Raiders of Fairport High School outside of Rochester.
It's easy to understand why you might think they're Cortland. Cortland's are the Red Dragoons, if I'm not mistaken, and they wear red.
Cook, the lookout in front as it was checked away. Melchione does such a good job playing on top of that box on that zone.
Melchione has really done a super job for Garden City through all the playoffs, Barry.
Great speed. Cavoti's shot, only not from outside, stopped by the goalie. It looks to clear. We told you he was a midi. Cook trying to chase that down, or rather Steve Young. It'll go out of bounds, and Garden City will get it back with 1:45 to go. Any trends, Kerry, you've seen early here?
Well, what I was going to say, Barry, is I think so far we've seen the Fairport have the ball and thrown the ball away about 3 or 4 times, and you can't do that against a good quality team like Garden City. You've got to really be able to play in control.
Kerry, how difficult is it to run and to play at the speed you have to do with what the brace that Koch is wearing on that right leg?
Oh man, that's got to be tough, especially in the heat right now too, down on the AstroTurf. That's got to be wearing on him.
What a job he did to rehabilitate himself. 6'1", 190-pound senior. Now Garden City with the ball. That's Cavoti, 14. Mickey Cavoti. Great year, great desire, great stick. He's only a junior. He'll be back next year. The look in front and a great score as they come up with the goal, and now it's a 3-1 game. Garden City getting a goal from Joe Griffith. So the middies who didn't do much scoring, Joe Griffith, his 9th goal of the year. He hasn't scored since midway through the season, and they're getting help from people they haven't gotten from before offensively, and it's 3-1.
Well, that shows the kind of balance that this team really has, Barry. That's why Garden City's so good, because anybody can hurt you. And here's Cavoti, and he has great vision. He sees everything from behind. He's their quarterback, as we said earlier, and he sees number 20, Joe Griffith, makes his cut from the midfield and puts the ball right where it should be, right on his shoulders.
That's something that he's done so effectively this year. Larry Glenn's, your club gave Garden City all they could handle, losing 7-6 in a game that Mangano came up big late in the game. I think he had 20 saves in that game. And what's the improvement in Kenny Mangano that you've seen since the beginning of the year? As we watch them go for another goal here and score. Oh, it was again that unit, the midfield unit, the second of the game for Paul Tully, his 16th of the year.
I think Kenny Mangano didn't get a chance to show what he had at the beginning of the year. Nobody was really putting any pressure on the cage. We got an opportunity to do it. We put a lot of pressure on him. He came up big, especially in the end of the game.
Here we'll see the replay on Paul Tully, and there he is outside. He just goes one-on-one. He just blows by his defensive midfielder, takes it right to the cage, takes a nice bounce shot, and puts the ball right behind Mike Matkowski.
They're not employing a long pole unit, and that the midfielders have hurt him again today. Larry, have you noticed anything? And maybe you can key on what's happening in the midfield, because they are giving up a lot of good opportunities. The middies are just blowing right by him, especially on that second unit. Kenny Carson, Jeff Herbert, and Kyle Miller, 27, 30, and 40. Garden City again winning that face-off.
The key so far has got to be Krause handling these face-offs. I mean, I was led to believe that Monty was going to give him a go. It's been no contest so far.
Well, Monty is an excellent face-off man. He'll be going to Ithaca. He generally comes in for the face-offs and will leave. Here's Cavoti, checked as he tried to get it off. Del Olio couldn't get to it. They race for the ball, and it will be Garden City ball. So it's been all Garden City in this first quarter. They've had a ton of shots. They've scored on 4 of them, 14 shots to 2 for Fairport. 30 seconds to go in the first quarter, and now Fairport will make changes as they send Kyle Miller, Ken Carson, and Jeff Herbert into the lineup, their second midfield unit.
Garden City is really playing very well, Barry, through the early goings of this game, being in complete control.
Well, already Fairport has given up 4 goals. That's 1 less than they give up all game against other opponents. Of course, they came from behind against Henninger with a great second half effort. And they're going to have to come from behind here. Bounce shot, this time by Doyle, who took it with the right hand. He's normally a lefty, and it was stopped.
Definitely testing him early here.
So Matkowski being tested early here. 3-year starter, good check by Doyle. Lost the ball. However, we're going to get a penalty on Doyle.
1 minute from behind.
Yeah, the official called that from a hit from behind, Barry, and so we're going to have a penalty against Garden City, giving Fairport the man up when play resumes.
Well, the Red Raiders haven't done too well man up. Overall 26%, which is not an impressive figure. And Garden City man down has been excellent, going about 89, 90%. So we'll have a timeout taken here, I believe. Nope, just an official timeout for a moment.
I'm surprised at the amount of shots Garden City's taken from outside. I think they want to test the goalie, see how he can handle it.
Again, this club did have some experience on the AstroTurf, and although coach said that the youngsters were happy to get away from Fairport and all of course, the gloom and the funeral yesterday of the other students, that'll do it. The end of the quarter has come, so they'll have the man-up situation when the second quarter resumes, and we'll be back. Garden City trying for a state championship. You're watching Championship High School Lacrosse on Cablevision. Jerry, here's a free pass to our next game.
Thanks, Barry, and here's something free for you, a free Apple Bank checking account.
Free?
Absolutely free. No monthly maintenance charges, no per check charges, nothing.
I can write all the checks I want at no cost?
The only charge you'll get is out of Apple Bank's fine service. And we'll pay you 5.25% interest on balances of $700 or more.
Apple Bank for savings. We're good for you.
I never ran before I came to Adelphi. Now I can't imagine not doing it. It really helps having the kind of encouragement I've gotten here. It makes Adelphi feel like a small college. But I'm glad it's a big university with lots of courses and career options, because I'm making choices that will affect my whole life. I'm excited about my future. In fact, sometimes I can't wait to graduate. It's sort of like running. Once you get started, you want to see how far you can go.
Adelphi University, where the advantages of a major university and a small college meet.
Come to Olympic Den Sporting Goods, suppliers of the Villanova Wildcats lacrosse team. Olympic Den carries a full line of uniforms, brine equipment, and custom sticks in all school colors. Located in Elmont. Call 437-0095. Take your next shot with Olympic Den.
Garden City with 2 goals by Tully, 1 by McMahon, and they have a 4-1 lead. Joe Griffith also adding a goal as we begin the second quarter. Garden City a man-up carry.
Fairport's playing his man up right now, Barry, and it's a good opportunity for them. They've got to slow down the momentum that Garden City has had. Plus, they've got to take away some possession. Garden City was in possession almost 8 minutes or 9 minutes of that whole first period, and Fairport's got to get control of the ball.
They swing it around against this defense. 6 against 5. They have the man-up situation here. Young behind to Koch. Back out on top. SOUDAN, 25. Send it off the stick of Young, off of his stick, out of bounds. He lost it, and it goes back over to Garden City.
I think if that was a good pass, Koch would have had a good he would have had a good opportunity. I believe that was Steve Young, I'm sorry, from coming from behind, but it wasn't a good pass, and that was what was crucial.
There you can see the scoring for the first quarter. Garden City dominating. They had a lot of shot edge, 14-2, I believe, in the first quarter. And, of course, they lead 4-1. Man still in the box for Garden City, and he'll be releasing shortly. It's Dave Dillmeyer, plays long pole midfield. We'll watch the clear here, and Krause is going to run it upfield.
That's the best man down clear you can have. Give it to Andy Krause and have him clear it.
All-American going to the University of Virginia, where his brother Steve was a star. Penalty is now over as they send a man back to late call. Coming up here, the shot, where's the ball, says the goalie. He couldn't find it, Matkowski, and we have a flag drop.
It's interesting as we look at Doc Doherty, he sees what's going to happen now as his team goes man up. But it's interesting, Andy Krause brought the ball down.